Welcome once again, brothers and sisters. It's good to see you after a week off. Today, I wanted to bring a special friend that I met a long time ago, 1976, when I rolled into seminary. There was this young guy who was just full of laughter and full of smiles, and he was from Kentucky. And never did really become a part of his circle, but I always admired the fact that he was never in a sad moment. Lo and behold, it was toward the end of my career that I would be joining with him on staff here at Trinity on the Hill. And his name is Greg Hatfield. So I want to welcome Greg to our little video program today. The reason I've welcomed him here is because he's reaching a mile point, just like I am in our careers as Methodist ministers. And that's where we've reached our 40th year of ministering. So this is quite exciting. But the story you have about how you came to Augusta from Kentucky, of all places, just tell us the story again. It's a delightful story.
I'm still caught up in the fact that we kind of began and are now ending together.
Ending together, exactly.
That's great. Oh my goodness, that's a great story. To shorten it up a little bit, is we had been visiting Augusta because Sandy's family was here for probably 15 years before I even knew Trinity on the Hill was on the map. I thought I'd pass by all Methodist churches in the area, but most of the time we just came and stayed at the home of Sandy's parents. But I always loved this weather, especially because I love tennis. I always told Sandy, if there's any way to get to Augusta and in the Georgia Conference, North Georgia Conference, I'm going to try to do it. But we were told all through seminary that the conference was sewn up. There's no entry. They weren't accepting anybody or anything like that. Well, we got our own conference paper, Kentucky Conference newsletter, that came, and the classified section had an ad for a youth director at Trinity on the Hill in Augusta, Georgia. And so we just kind of laughed about it, and I circled it and left it on the table, and we would joke about it every once in a while. But, I was in campus ministry, so Christmas break was coming up, and I said, I'm going to give them a call. Well, I gave a call, and they asked for my resume, and I sent the resume, and they asked when we were going to be in for the holiday break, and I told them, and the rest is history. We went through a great conversation together. And it ended up here, and never, ever regretted that decision at all. But Mike, when I came to this place and with 3 children in tow, my lovely wife, Sandy, we felt so comfortable and just loved here. It was just a right fit, but I had no idea that I'd be spending 24 years of my ministry, over half of that here. And then the great opportunity to continue on in retired status is just a dream to me. So looking forward to working with the congregation continually and using this time to work on the being able to get back into worship and doing what we do best. While we were here for about 6 years or so, my friend Lindsay Davis, who is bishop, encouraged me to go ahead and join the conference. And I was glad that the conference accepted me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, it was a good day. I remember being good friends with David Jones, who hired you. And he said that he had found a great discovery and that he was going to find something for you to do. So it looks like it's taken you 24 years to get it all done.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what it is.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, you're coming up to where you will be officially in retired status,
right,
which is kind of a specialty description for United Methodist pastors. They put us in retired status so they can always keep their tabs on us, but we're no longer appointed,
right,
unless we want to be. And so we wanted to take this opportunity to talk to the congregation that even though Greg is retired status as of tomorrow, July 1st, that he is continuing to work for us as the same position he was before. It's just he will not be appointed to our church. So you'll continue to do older adult ministries. You'll continue to do our hospital visitations. You're the forefront on grief and bereavement. And you've got the prayer force and the care force and so many other things that people have grown accustomed for you to be there. Of course, the joke around the church when I got here was that Greg is there at the hospital before you even get there by ambulance. And one time when I was injured, I called Greg first. I didn't call an ambulance. I called Greg.
I remember that.
I
That's the night
figured-
before Thanksgiving,
It
wasn't it?
was. And I figured he would know the right hospital to get to and the right doctors to have as well.
Too kind.
So you'll serve full-time with us after July 1st for many months through the transition of the senior pastors when Reverend Scott Hearn gets here. And then sometime in the future, there will be a time when you will transition to part-time. Probably still a place here for you on Sunday morning. So there will be a lot of time for you to be a part of this church. So knowing that you're going to be in retired status, but you're going to keep working, how weird is that?
It was more weird to people that I mentioned it to than it is to me because of COVID and everything that's going on. It just makes sense to kind of help the transition and for it to be as smooth as possible and to do whatever is the best for the church and our mission of knowing Christ and making Christ known. So that's what really what's in my heart. I mean, I've never retired before, so I don't know what to compare it to.
Exactly.
But I was just sharing with some of my friends yesterday on the tennis court, and they will say, well, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "Well, I kind of just come into retirement and still do what I'm doing." And they'll look at me like I'm nuts.
I know.
So, no more tennis? I said, "Well, yeah, I'll pick up a little more tennis,
Sure.
but and some other things." But it just feels like the right thing to do right now. So we'll just kind of roll with the tide and figure out what it is as we go along and see what happens.
Well, I appreciate you being here as part of that transition process as Reverend Scott Hearn comes 1st of September. Because I know when I came into Trinity, it was good to have staff who had been around, for a good time. I've never been to a church where everybody's been here for 20 plus years, but it was comfortable and it was good to have somebody who knew the route ahead of us. One thing that I know people are concerned about is if you're going to be retired, when are we going to have a celebration for you? Everybody wants to go to a party now, especially
parties are
for a
fun.
preacher retiring. And so I just want to let y'all know that the celebration for Greg is going to come at a time when he finally does finish full-time work with us and goes part-time. And at that particular point, we'll have a celebration of 24, 25, 26, ever how many years that's going to be. And so that'll give us time to celebrate your ministries. And you can
Not
send.
worried about that.
Not worried. Yeah, Greg's never worried about things like that. So just wanted to say that 44 years ago, when I saw your smiling and laughing face, you had a full head of hair that was kind of a rich reddish brown with a full beard. And I thought, that is the kind of guy that I'd like to be around. And it is still true today.
Thank you.
You're the kind of guy I want to be around.
Thanks.
And you've been definitely a brother in Christ for me as you've helped me through some crises in my own life. So appreciate that very much.
Well, I've got to reciprocate by saying being on staff here has been an incredible experience because of the staff and how it's made up. And ever since I've been part of that, but especially with you, and going to miss you tremendously. Have had a great time here the number of years that you've been here, and to watch the marvelous things you've done with the church, especially the direction that you've helped us go with our theology and our thinking, but also getting us out of debt. Oh my goodness, that just opened up the door for us to be able to do many other things programmatically and not have to service loans and that sort of thing. But Mike, working with you, honestly, has just been a highlight of my career and a wonderful way to go into retirement.
Great.
And it's 'cause
Well, there'll be a special extra something for you in your paycheck. So on this coming Sunday, Greg will be in the sanctuary with us, and he'll continue to be working full-time. So please don't worry. He's not going anywhere. Now, my retirement will be the last week in August, and I'll be transitioning as Reverend Scott Hearn comes to serve as your senior pastor. This coming Sunday, we will continue with our special in-person COVID worship. That means you have to stay 6 feet apart. You have to wear a mask. You have to have your hand sanitized. Don't come if you have a fever or a cough or shortness of breath. And one household to a pew. We'll be seating you as you come in to the sanctuary. And on this email is a place for you to register that you would like to come to either the 9:45 service or the 11 o'clock service. And we're going to continue to require masks and social distancing because the new COVID cases in Georgia is continuing to spike. In our area, it's not spiking as much, but it is increasing. And so it's very important for us to continue to have these precautions made while we practice in-person worship. Hope you'll come. We still have not filled up either the Wesley Hall for 9:45 or the sanctuary for that matter, even when we keep 6-foot distance. So I hope some of you will take the opportunity to come and worship with us if you feel safe to do so. If not, we continue to offer the very best of worship through our television or through our live streaming. So you can join us there. And as always, we love to hear comments from you. It helps us to get some of the feedback that we're used to seeing when you're there in person. So look forward to seeing you this Sunday. We'll be celebrating Christian liberty or Christian freedom in Christ. Look forward to seeing you there. God bless you.